Thank you. I join the chairman in his concern that Africa does not get the attention that it should get. I hope that you and other Republicans would talk to the Speaker about and get him to reconsider his decision to decline to invite the President of Kenya to speak to a joint session of Congress. I think that would be a way to demonstrate both to Africa and to America the importance of the continent. And as the chairman points out, 600,000 people died in Tigray, and you go to the campuses where people are screaming and they don't know where Tigray is. We also face 18 million people with acute food insecurity in Sudan. And this, in Darfur, we're seeing a second genocide. We saw one over a decade ago. We're seeing it again. We're seeing the horrific massacres of Sudan's ethnic Masalit, I hope I'm pronouncing that correct, and other black African non-Arab communities. Now, the United States very rarely supports the change of an international border. I, for example, proposed that North Rakhine State could be independent or joined to Bangladesh. That did not happen, and the Rohingya who were displaced continue to be displaced. In contrast, in perhaps the only example I can remember where we've supported the change of international border, except for the separation of the Czech Republic and Slovakia, was the creation of South Sudan. We did so because the people of South Sudan faced a genocide. Now the people of Darfur face a second genocide. If the Sudanese government cannot protect the people of Western Sudan, should there be an independent West Sudan, or should there perhaps be a confederation between West Sudan, that is to say Darfur, and the nation of Chad, should that be amenable to the Republic of Chad? Is it time to change the international border, or to at least discuss it as a way, as a reason for Sudan to take its responsibility seriously?
Congressman, thank you, first of all, for your concern for Africans, particularly those suffering from conflict. The situation is so dire in Sudan, it's important that we consider all options. I would just note that the establishment of the state of South Sudan, the country of South Sudan, it's not clear, although it's the strong preference of the people of South Sudan, that that can be considered fully successful, given the ongoing conflict among the South Sudanese. And the displacement and humanitarian crisis there. Another concern is fragmentation and how weak states might allow other actors to exploit. So there, I think, pros and cons. So, but given the dire situation, it's reasonable to ask questions, and I thank you for them.
The very fact that you're willing to consider the consideration of this is, I think, something that Khartoum should take a look at. We saw in the prelude to the Tigrayan war, during it, thousands of people imprisoned elsewhere in Ethiopia simply because of their Tigrayan ethnicity. We saw this for civilians and members of the Tigrayan members of the Ethiopian armed forces. Is the State Department doing anything to learn the status of Ethiopians who were previously detained on their basis of their ethnicity, and what's being done to secure their release?
Congressman, my understanding is that with the cessation of hostilities agreement, nearly all of those imprisoned on the basis of ethnicity were released, but let me get an update on that status for you.
Thank you. Now, Eritrea continues to occupy areas of northern Tigray, seemingly without any opposition from the Ethiopian federal government. What can we do to address Eritrea's continuing violation of Ethiopian sovereignty and oppression of the Tigrayan people?
As I mentioned, Ambassador Hammer is in Ethiopia, part of a recurring set of visits where he works with the African Union, Canada, Europeans, and other partners to pursue implementation of that agreement, which calls for Eritrea to withdraw. So it remains an issue of conversation and an issue of exploration of steps that can be taken to encourage that outcome.
What steps can we take against Eritrea if they simply refuse to withdraw?
We have a poor relationship with the government of Eritrea. As you know, they are heavily sanctioned by the United States. Our influence is not what we would hope in terms of achieving the results we would like to see.
I yield back.